Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Corporation of the Town of LaSalle Water and Wastewater Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I'd like to read the land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation of the Three Fires Confederacy and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are the stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island, and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original peoples across Turtle Island. I'd like to begin with looking at my council colleagues. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move on to point C, the adoption of the minutes. You've had a chance to review the minutes which are before you from the October 22nd, 2024 meeting. Are there any additions, deletions, or anything that we need to add to the minutes? Seeing none, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Reno, support by Councillor Burns. All in favor? That passes. Items for consideration, the LaSalle Distribution System Summary Report for 2024. Lena Petros, the Manager of Water and Wastewater, is presenting the report. Lena, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you for meeting today. I'd like to discuss the annual summary report for the LaSalle Distribution Water System. This is the report that we present as the operating authority to the system owners every year, which summarizes all the activities and all the testing requirements and all other ministry required procedures for the LaSalle distribution system. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. The report is, it goes through from treatment equipment, which the distribution system, we're standalone, so we don't do any treatment, except we monitor the distribution system, chlorine residuals throughout the whole system, and make sure that the chlorine residual, as if it goes below the threshold limits, we initiate the flushing procedure where it would bring fresh water into the system, especially on dead ends, and bring it up above the 0.20 milligrams per liter. Also, the operational checks and sampling testing monitoring. This was successfully completed in 2024. Under Schedule 7, operational checks, our system, we're required to take at least 7 samples every week. So we usually do 4 samples on Mondays. If it's on long weekends, then we do it on Tuesday, and 3 samples on Thursday. And if we do it on Monday, then we do Thursday. If it's on a Tuesday, then we move it to the Friday as well, because there is also a requirement of the gap between the samples, how those are collected. And we've collected a total of 968 chlorine residual samples. There was actually one I wanted to mention that on February 19, there was 1 sample was missed out of the 3 that were supposed to be collected. And we've investigated on that one. So we also have, we're working on modifying the way we collect the samples and how to track them as well, where before it was, we had spreadsheets, and those sheets would have like the dates and how many samples needs to be collected. Now we're gonna digitize everything and use the work order system, and in this way we could have the supervisor check, make sure that these are collected on time. And also I've added another step where myself as the manager, at the end of the week, I would review those as well. So that added step wasn't there in the past, and now we're gonna be reviewing it twice, and it'd be all electronic as well. So if there is anything missed, it would turn red and we could see it as well, and then there is notification would be sent. Also, there is Schedule 10, microbiological samples. We had collected 572 E. coli and total coliforms for 2024. And also we do trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids. Those are the chemical samples that we collect quarterly throughout the system. And we haven't had any exceedance on any of those in the 2024. Lead samples, the system is still exempt from plumbing lead samples because of the number of samples that we had collected in the past, and we didn't have a large number of exceedance where we've been exempt. We usually do 8 distribution samples throughout the town as well. Reporting of adverse, we've had 1 adverse sample in 2024, and that was reported and corrective actions were taken and completed successfully as well. Also, at the end of the report, there is the consumption that the town, how much water we use, and it's based on the billing from N1 Utilities. And that concludes the report, if there is any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Petros. Looking to my council colleagues, Councillor Reno, please.
Thank you. I found the report very good, but most interestingly, the end with the consumptions. And I have a question I'm not sure any one of you could answer. I'm sure one of you can. When we talk about the megaliters that we have been working on with the city to get more water consumption, to get more ability for consumption, how does that compare? Like when we say that we have 5 megaliters and I see the thousands of liters that are used in a year, how does that compare? Like, I mean, are we, when we're using 500,000 in July, are we halfway to that threshold? Where do we sit?
Thank you for the question, through you, Deputy Mayor. I'll say we're less, just under half of what our overall capacity is now that we've kind of purchased some more from WUC. So I guess we were at that point where, you know, we were at half and then we knew we needed to purchase a little more. That kind of put us under half of what our full capacity is. And then we used some of the numbers from the metering, from the newer metering to help calibrate our modeling as the years progress. So we've been using these for about 4 or 5 years, these meters, or 7 or 8 maybe actually. Yeah. So it's about 10 years actually. So we've had a couple, over the last 2 water models we've done, we've been able to use more accurate data to help calibrate our system to get a little bit accurate read on overall how much capacity we use.
So at 35,000 people, we're at about half of what our
I would say just under half, yeah,
okay.
Or around half, yeah.
That's wonderful,
Yep.
Thank you.
Councillor Riccio Spagnolo.
Thank you, through you. Just a question, when you say that one of the samples was missed, of the 3 samples, does that mean missed that it wasn't completed, or missed they didn't test it, or like was there another day that you had tested to make it the 3 samples?
So on the sheet, we have 3 samples, but we don't know the locations, like, because we specify the locations the week of. So, and then when we were reviewing everything afterwards, we noticed that the operator went to the location, wrote down that was Malden Sample Station, and then the chlorine residual was not recorded. So we went back and we're like, why was this one not recorded? What's happening there? Then we found out we had a call out for a water main break and the possible main break. So we had to call that operator. So he started flushing to take the sample, left to go check on the other emergency, and then basically forgot to go back and take the sample. So the chlorine residual was not recorded, so that means we don't have a sample for that one, for that location, and that's how it got missed. That's why we're gonna need to. We've been doing that same procedure for like many years since I've been here, so we're like, there is something is not working properly here. We gotta figure out how to fix this so it doesn't happen again in the future.
Looking to the rest of council to see if they have any more questions. Seeing none, there's a recommendation before us that the report of the manager of water and wastewater dated March 6, 2026, regarding the LaSalle Water Distribution System Summary Report for 2024 be received. Looking for a mover and a seconder. Councilor Riccio Spagnuolo and Councilor Burns, all in favor? Any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. Item 2, DWQMS Internal and External Audit Report for 2024. Again, Ms. Lena Petros, Manager of Water and Wastewater.
Thank you. So this is the 2024, we conduct 2 audits for the drinking water distribution system as well. And the attached reports also go through the whole system and the operational plan, and also identifies any non-conformance, major or minor, or opportunities for improvements. For both reports, there was a few opportunities for improvements, and as the QMS rep, I've completed all the required modifications to the operational plan in order to close all the OFIs. If you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Ms. Petros. Looking to my council colleagues, do we have any questions for administration on the report that's been presented? Seeing none, there is a recommendation before council that the report of the manager, water and wastewater dated March 6, 2025, PWWWC 0225, regarding the DWQMS internal and external audit reports for 2024 be received. Looking to council colleagues, Councilor Riccio Spagnuolo and Councilor Carrick. Vote on the item. Anybody? All in favor? Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries. Next, item 3, DWQMS Management Review Meeting Summary 2025. Again, Ms. Lena Petros, the Manager of Water and Wastewater, to present the report.
As part of one of the requirements for the drinking water quality management system, and at least once a year, we have, as the operating authority, we conduct this meeting, and I usually invite also the manager of engineering into this meeting, the supervisor of water, wastewater, director of public works, and also the lead hand as well from water, wastewater. And we discuss a number of items throughout the meeting. And there is also, like, from previous meetings, if there is any items that needs attention as well. And we assign who's responsible for each item and when to complete the items as well. And if you have any questions regarding any of the items that they were discussed, also I've attached as part of this report, because we had discussed the Ministry of Environment, the report, the inspection report, and it's also attached to the minutes because that was discussed during the meeting as well. You'll see it at the end of the report, and it also shows the rating of the system for that inspection period. And if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you, Ms. Petros. Looking to my council colleagues to see if you have any questions of administration on the presented report. Seeing none, there is a recommendation before us that the report of the Manager of Water and Wastewater dated March 7th, 2026, regarding the DWQMS Management Review Meeting Summary 2025 be received. Councilor Burns and Councilor Riccio Spagnuolo, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that carries. Item E, questions and statements from members of the committee. Councilor Burns. Did you have a question, sir? Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. Just a quick question. We've just made it through a pretty cold winter. We had a couple cold snaps more than usual. I'm just wondering, I know as every winter we get a couple water main breaks. Would you say this year they were average or above average than any other year?
So in the report here, we have the number of main breaks. We had 13 in 2024, but that's for the calendar year. And I also was reviewing from January 1st until today's date, we've had 8 breaks. So throughout that cold snap, we've had 8 breaks. If we compare it to the last, let's say 5-6 years, it's a little bit above the average, because we've had few days where it was like 3 breaks in one day. And but if we go back to 20 years ago where we had 90 breaks a year, we're way below. So, but 2024 as a calendar year, it's been the lowest in number of breaks so far.
Mr. Osborne, I think you might have a comment.
Yeah, I might just add on, just in case council doesn't have enough things to worry about at nighttime. What was unique about this year is we saw more breaks again in the Oliver Farms subdivision. So we had a number of years where it was quite problematic. Some of the parkway work happened. We did some looping in the water mains. That seemed to help for another number of years. So the past 4 or 5 years, it hasn't been so bad in there. But for whatever reason this year, it kind of showed up again. So it's just something I wanted to mention that is a little unique from the last few years. At some point in time, we will have to go into Oliver Farms and replace the water mains. When we replace the water mains, we're going to have to do road work. When we do the road work, we're going to have to do storm sewer. So it's something that we've identified over the years. It is coming. We've been kind of trying to push it off as much as we can, looking for grants, not successfully. So just wanted to point that out to council. There's nothing coming immediately, but sometime in the horizon, we'll have to be going in there and doing some work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osborne. Are there any other further council questions for admin? Seeing none, we'll move on to point F, the next meeting. The next meeting of the Water Wastewater Committee is scheduled for October 28th, 2025 at 4:30, which brings us to item G, adjournment. Looking for a mover and a seconder. Councilor Riccio Spagnolo, Councilor Burns, all in favor? That passes. Thank you very much.